Here's the story. Johnny the Mad Dragon, that had my mother and Puff by his side. They were four fans, certain that he obnoxious, but full of dragon's pride.
It's the story of the great Jesse Godfrey, with Big T Go-Go and Mr. Rob. The Jesse's crew, so fierce and passionate, and the red face shine true. Till the one day when Johnny met young Jesse, and they knew it was much more than a hunt. That his group would form a fiery podcast. That's how we come from the Dragon's Punch. Mad Dragon's Punch. Mad Dragon's Punch. That's the way we became the Mad Dragon's Punch. Come on, Dragons fans! Fire up!
Well, good evening all. Welcome to a special time for this VOD. I'm sure you're all wondering why we're going live now. So we are very accommodating on the Mad Dragons podcast. We are here to, Big T will introduce our guest a little bit shortly. But we are here for the Behind Enemy Lines segment, as our guest couldn't come at our normal time of 8:30. We'll still have our show at 8:30. But for the time being, we'll be discussing the Warriors team, and we'll be discussing our guest, who Big T will introduce in just a moment. But yeah, welcome to this special vodcast to preview the game against the Warriors, and we'll get into this.
Come with me as we go behind enemy lines.
Well, good day, Dragons fans. I'm Big T, and this is Beyond Enemy Lines versus the Warriors. Round 10. Wow, round 10 already. That's unbelievable. I'll just run through the Wahs team. You've got Charles Nickel Cookstad at the back. Got Dallin Martinez Lesniak on the wings, along with Tane Tuapiki. Pompey and Capewell in the centres. Luke Metcalf and Chanel Harris-Tavita in the halves. Jackson Ford, Hasman's boy. Wade Egan and Mitch Barnett in the front row. Lika Halasima, Marata Nyakora, Aaron Clark looks the scrum. Sam Healy, Jacob Laban, Dimitri Vayamadigu, and Bunty Afaro. I like Bunty Afaro. He's not a bad player. Tamari Martin is the 18th man. Tanner Boyd, Tanner Stowers Smith, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, and Eddie Iramaya Tolove. Bringing our guest, Christian. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's great to be back on again. And thanks for the invite. Looking forward to chatting about the game this week between the Warriors and the Dragons. So yeah, it's great being on the Mad Dragons vodcast again. Very honoured to be on again.
All right, remind us again about your VOD, your podcast.
Yeah, so you guys, for those of you who don't know, I run a YouTube channel. It's called Warriors NRL Fanatics, and I'm on all the social media platforms as well of Twitter and Instagram as well. That's where you can find me.
Nice. If anyone wants to check Christian out, go and have a look there. Where are we? I've got it here somewhere. Oh yeah! Wow, my God, Warriors running third, mate. How good's that?
Yeah, we're doing well at the moment. We're sitting in a good position on the ladder. Obviously, the losses that we've had have only to the Melbourne Storm and the Canberra Raiders, and that's
right. And they're what, second and fourth, aren't they?
Yeah, the Canberra Raiders game in round one in Vegas was a game to forget. It wasn't our greatest performance at all. A lot of fans were a bit worried after that performance. We were a bit concerned that we were going to be. It was going to be another long season because last year was a very difficult season, and some of the signs from that game were similar to what they were last year. And then we bounced back. We won a few games in a row. We beat Manly. We beat the Roosters. And then we had a bit of a setback against the Storm, which, obviously it's
Yeah.
Melbourne Storm. We know it's a tricky game to play
Oh,
team against the
they're the
Storm.
Premier team, aren't they?
Yeah, they're one of the
Storm are the
contenders
premier
for the
team.
title this year. So
Yeah.
we really struggled against the Storm, and down there in Melbourne and Amy Park, and it was really the first half. We just we weren't really at the races, and when you make mistakes against the Storm, you give them
blow you
those
off the
chances,
park,
they're going to make you pay. So,
That's right.
besides we won the second half, it means nothing, but we did well in the
That's
second
right.
half. We did well to keep it under 50 there, but look, besides that, we've done pretty well. Obviously, Magic Round just been in past. Beating the Cowboys there, and a very good game actually against the Cowboys. A Cowboys team which were in great form going into that game as well. So look, other than that, I think the season's been good so far. But look, I'm not going to get carried away, but I am excited. I'm very excited to see how the boys are performing, and we are grinding out wins. We haven't been convincing, but we've been grinding out the wins in close games. So at the moment we're doing all right.
Losing Sean Johnson and Adam Fanua Blake, they were two big losses to your team. But Luke Metcalf stepped up and shown he's just as good as how Johnson is or was.
Yeah. So Luke Metcalf is, he hasn't played a lot of games in the halfback spot. He's had a few injuries since he's been at the club,
like a
and we
duck
haven't
to
seen
water.
a lot of them play first grade. So, I think for the first couple of games, he's starting to find his feet. He's starting to improve, and him and Harris Tavita as a halves combination, there's a lot been made of it by Warriors fans. There's people that want Tamari Martin and Tana Boy to come in, but look, I said to a lot of Warriors fans that you've got to give Metcalf and Harris Tavita time to, form a partnership and combination, and those two, they're only going to get better. They're only going to improve, and I think last week we saw that with Luke Metcalf. He was brilliant against the Cowboys.
Yeah, where do you think the Wahs are excelling at the moment? Where are their strengths?
At the moment, I think our forward pack are really going strongly. And look, we have no Fisher Harris at the moment. He's out for quite a bit, and he's actually not far away from returning. And we also have had we've had players out like Dallin out, and he's back this week, as you can see there on the canvas this week. So it's great to have him back in the lineup. We've had a few, a bit of injuries in the outside backs. Barry who's also out again this week as well. So, which is a blow there. But I think our forward pack, Aaron Clark, has been a really good signing for us. He has come in and he's produced some great performances, really consistent. From the start of the season, from round one onwards, he has been our best forward on the field, with him and Barnett as well.
Barnett's been playing well.
Two best forwards.
Barnett had a breakout year last year, playing Origin and playing for Australia, and he's taken that form back to the Warriors as well.
Yes, you got RTS on the extended bench. You think Tuapiki might be swapped out?
I think RTS might be another week away. I don't think he'll play this week. I think obviously it's good to see him back in the reserves, at least in the reserves, but I think he's going to be given another week.
Another week?
And I think he'll return next week against the Finns, against the Dolphins there. So Tane's doing a really good job. He is a fullback, but he's been playing on the wing and he's out of position. So he's actually been doing a great job on the wing for the Warriors in the games he's been played. So, he's a really good talent, really bright future as well, very good young player. And, it'll be a shame if he gets dropped, because, he's done so well. So, I think he will work out one stage when RTS gets back next week. So, I don't see
one player I have been watching at the Warriors, Lika Halasima. 6'1", 100 kilo Tongan. He's a back rower. Signed till 2027, so you've got him for another couple of years. 3 tries in 8 games. Tell us a bit about Lika.
Yeah, so Leka Halasima, he's 18 years old. He's 18 years old. And he made his debut last season for the Warriors against the Bulldogs in Sydney. And he's actually come through the junior system, through the Warriors junior system, which is really exciting because always love to see players from your junior system come through
Yeah.
and make that switch up to first grade. And like I'm very high on the pathways in the junior system. Our Max team just won the title last week.
Yeah.
They won
Back to
back-to-back
back.
titles.
Yeah. I was just about to ask you about
Yeah.
the pathways system since Webster turned up. Do you think he's brought the Penrith way to do it?
I think he's bought his own style. Yeah, I think he's bought his
Okay.
own style. Yeah, from what I think, he's brought his own style to the Warriors. The club's doing a good job at the moment. We've obviously a couple of years ago we really struggled because of the COVID. And we had to play. We had to basically, play players from Australia or through the Dolphins, and that we had to put players through the Dolphins and Q Cup. So. Now we've got that system in place now, and that's really important because you look at Penrith as an example and how strong they've been over the years. Their junior pathways, and their system is it's the reason why
you can see that now. You can see that now at the Warriors. They're succeeding. He's done a good job, Webster, with your junior players. You got any questions there, Jess?
Well, as you said, Christian, now we've had Tane Tuapiki, he's a young player coming through. Tell us a bit about Ali Leatoa. He's been impressive as well, the centre that's been playing. He's not playing the last couple of weeks, but tell us a bit about him. He's looked the goods as well.
Yeah, so Ali Leatoa is another good, young, promising player coming through the juniors as well. And he is at a he's a very powerful centre, and he's the nephew of Ali, the nephew of former Warrior player, and he actually, he's been very good for us as well for the games he's played. But obviously this week he's not playing, and he's out for the next couple of weeks due to an injury. So yeah, he's a bright future. I think he's personally a bright future in the game, and I think he'll be. In the next couple of years, he'll only grow and get better as well as a player. So, obviously he's very young as well. So, he's very, very rare. And he's just a great talent. So, yeah, I think in the next couple of years you'll see more of him in the NRL. I think if injuries, if injuries don't stop him. But yeah, we'll see a lot of him in the next couple of years.
Well, there's a massive amount of young talent at the Warriors, and I want to see him go well, but not this weekend.
There actually has been talk that potentially there would be, like, a lot of people are calling for a second New Zealand team. Is that something you'd like to see, or do you think the Warriors still need to get better first? Should the focus be on getting the Warriors better, or do you think New Zealand are ready for a second team?
Look, I think I personally feel like that New Zealand could field a second team. Now. Look, I've sort of changed my opinion on this now for a while now. Actually, at first I thought the Warriors, having the Warriors, and obviously the Warriors haven't been successful. So, having a second New Zealand team, I wasn't too big on, but I've sort of changed my view on it a little bit there. But I think a second New Zealand team would be great in the NRL. I think it'd be good for the Warriors as well. Maybe a bit of a, form a bit of a rivalry. The Warriors really don't have too many rivalries in the NRL. But yeah, I think it'd be a good move to have a second New Zealand team. Obviously with the NRL at the moment, expansion is a big talk around expansion, and Perth is a team that's sounding like it's going to come into the comp with Papua New Guinea. So I think a second New Zealand team wouldn't be too bad of a call, and I'd probably have it somewhere like Christchurch. I think Christchurch should
over on the South Island, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think it'd be somewhere in Christchurch would probably be where they probably should locate it if there was a second team.
Looks like they do love their footy. They had their the test there at the end of last year, had a big crowd, and then the Warriors had a game there on Anzac Day.
Yeah, they definitely did. It was a great crowd there, and they Christchurch is a big rugby union known town there. So with the Super Rugby side, the Crusaders. So I think league could definitely grow there. I think they would definitely love the league there, and I think rugby league is a community that they probably could be quite big in Christchurch.
Yeah, it will be huge. 20 teams in the competition by then. The Tigers actually want to join the South Island team. Actually, they want to pull away from the Magpies and move across to New Zealand. So
And there is
and
potential
the stuff,
talk that
the stuff that's happening at the Tigers.
They're on the up too. There's potential talk too about Magic Round going there, but that's a different matter. But it's still at Suncorp for another 2 years. I just want to get your thoughts on Magic Round on Saturday. I don't know if you were watching the Warriors game, but the Warriors fans were probably the noisiest ones at Magic Round, and they were all calling for Sean Johnson. There's a lot of Warriors fans up there in Brisbane. Very loud, passionate.
So the Warriors supporters, we generally always pack out the away games in Queensland, Sydney, New South Wales. In general, we always get good support. So especially Brisbane as well. Brisbane and the Gold Coast games and the Brisbane games, because obviously with the Kiwi support, there's a lot of Warriors fans that live around the Queensland, Brisbane, Gold Coast, on Queensland. So, I mean, the Warrior support is massive. It's massive. It's huge. We've got the Warrior Nation as well. There's a supporters group run by Richie Morgan who's in Sydney, and he does all the meetups, the events that they run down at the Lord Alfred Hotel, down there at the pub there, across the road in Caxton Street. So, we always have great support. The Warriors fans are always in about in Australia, in Queensland, New South Wales, and Australia as a whole. So, we have a massive supporters base around Australia.
There's a lot of you over here. A lot of you Kiwis over here.
They were annoying, that's for sure.
Well, we're everywhere.
Hasman wanted me to ask you about Jackson Ford's form. He's not at the top of his game at the moment.
Look, he hasn't been very consistent. Last year was a very tough season for him. His form sort of really just went down. It just dropped dramatically. He was good for us a couple of years ago as well, but 2024 wasn't his best year. So, and 2025, I think 2025. We've seen some glimpses of him and been trying to get back to his best. Obviously, he scored 2 tries a couple of weeks ago. He scored a double in one of the games for us. But, he's... I don't know. Like, I'm sort of like, he had 2 good years for us. And then, last year was a difficult year. But I think the past couple of games, he's been a lot better. I think he's shown a lot better improvement. So, which is good to see. But...
just send him back to us. We take on old boys all the time.
He's not that old.
Well,
I know. I understand. I know. we take them back anyway. We got Luch,
Hame
Cookie. They all come back to us. All right. Is that all you got, Jess?
Yep. You want to move on to your bit?
All right, mate. We'll move on to this, mate. We'll move on to this. At this time of night, Christian, we take a walk down memory lane. We talk about a Dragons win from way back.
Ooh, right.
Come with me as we take a walk down memory lane. Brought to you by Essence and Light, nature for your home and body. They're a candle and soap manufacturer. They've got a website now, essenceandlight.com.au. Go and check them out and buy some candles from the girls. We're going back to Saturday, May 6, 2000. 25 years ago. 25 years ago. You weren't even born, were Christian?
Nah, 96.
He was.
You're only 4.
I was, actually, but I don't remember the game.
84. Don't remember this game. Win Stadium, Wollongong, Dragons versus Warriors, round 14. Crowd, 7,039. Referee, Tim Mander. We played the Warriors 37 times over the last 26 years. 25 wins for us, 12 for the Warriors. We've scored 857 points. The Warriors have scored 639. Just run through these sides. We have Luke Patton at the back, Nathan Blacklock and Amos Roberts on the wings, making his debut, Amos Roberts. Hooper and Gasnier, I think it was Hooper. Was it Hooper? Yeah, Hooper and Gasnier in the centres, Jason Hooper, Brannigan and Trent Barrett. This was the week back in 2000 that Anthony Mundine walked down on the Dragons. He walked out, gone, see you later. He went to Brisbane. Anyhow, Going for it. Pearson, Brown, and Bailey in the front row. Darren Tracy, Lamey, and Andrew Hart locks the scrum. Simpson, Patton, Ward, and Murphy on the bench. David Waite was the coach. Running through the Warriors side, Mark Graham was the coach. The great Mark Graham, what a great player. If you haven't seen him play, go back and watch some of his games. Lee Odenryan's fastest man in rugby league at one stage when he took on Martin the Fire. Odell Manuel, and who's this? And Henry Farfili on the wings. Shante Harpe and Nigel Wagner on the centres. John Simon and Stacey Jones, close to the best Warriors combination. It'd be arguably they'd be the best half combination in the competition. Matt Spence, Robbie Mears, and Tony Herbinson in the front row. Richard Swain, Monty Beethan, and Jason Deeth in the back row.
Logan Swan.
Logan Swan, was it? I said Logan, did I? Who did I say? Anyway.
Richard Swan.
Jane Oliver, A1 Goodenbill, Jerry Siu, and the big cheek Chuanavave. Big boy he was, remember him back then. John Simon. Illawarra Junior, played for Dapto. He played for the Steelers, 120 games for the Steelers, 30 goals, 9 field goals, 177 points. He also played for the Roosters, the Wahs, and the Eels, and the Tigers, 230 games, all up, 50 tries, 118 goals, 23 field goals, 459 points. He played a test for Australia in 97, Prime Minister's 11 game, 4 games for New South Wales, first game in 92, and then 97. 5 years later, he made his second game, second, third, and fourth game for New South Wales. John Simon added to the Steelers Walk of Fame in 2000 on this week. So during this week, he was named on the Legends Walk of Fame. He left rugby league, went to Aboriginal and Family Youth Services, coached in the Kiama comp, coached the local Illawarra Titans in the Koori Knockout. He has his own business now at the Subway in Kiama. So get down there and buy a sandwich from John Simon. Okay. 10 for the 40th minutes, Amos Roberts kicked penalty goals. 20 minutes, no Blacklock scored a try. Corey Pearson ran to the line and pushed the ball out the back. Any halfback would have been proud of. Trent Barrett shoots through the ground, passes back inside to Tinga, and Tinga goes over. Dragons 10-0. In the next try, Austin Pearson, as the crowd, the sign in the crowd just said. Did you get read that, Austin Pearson? Corey Pearson scores a try in 28th minute. Dragons 16, Warriors 0. 32nd minute, Jason Hooper goes over for a try, right under the sticks. That's half time, 22-0 to the Dragons. Shimmy, shimmy, whoosh. Gasney is over. From dummy half, just runs through lazy Warriors defence. Dragons 28-0, sorry. 57 minute, Trent Barrett gets his own try. Nathan Brown, dummy half to Barrett. Barrett runs through a poor Warriors defence. Under the post, Dragons 34, Warriors 0. 68th minute, Tim gets in second. Dragons 40, Warriors 0. 7th minute, Tinga goes over again. Bang, bang, bang. Tinga's over. The score's 46-0. And it's not over. It's not over, Christian. 72nd minute, Amos Roberts try and debut. 9 with the boot that day. 22 points. 22 points. And that record stood for a number of years, till last year when we played the Tigers. And you know who got it. You know who our highest point scorer is, don't you, Jess?
I know.
Oh, sorry, mate. There's one more. But you have to stay positive, Stay positive. Where are we? Oh, there we go. Amos Roberts ran from 22 out, over his own line, offloads to Andrew Hart, passes it back to Patton, out to Gaz, who strides away untouched and scores full time. Dragons 54, Warriors 0. That was our biggest win over the Warriors over the years. So that was back in 2000. Thanks for joining me on Behind Enemy Lines, and I'll walk down memory lane. This has been a Big T presentation.
What the hell's that? You look like King Tut from Batman.
It's good, eh? Brought to you by the Mad Dragon Voicecast and Essence and Light, Nature for Human Body, a small batch candle and soap makers. They've got a website now. Just go to essenceandlight.com.au and have a look at all this stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. The rest is history, Jess. There's much, much more to be made. And look at that. There's a little Bobby Saguna and his dad. So I'm going to ask Robert later about that picture, when it was, where he's going. He's probably going to church or something. I'm not sure.
You'll have to repost it when we have him on the show.
I will. I'll put it back up when the show comes on. That's little Bobby Saguna. Let's walk down memory lane. Thanks for joining me. Love your time. Thank you, Christian, for your time. I know your VOD's about to start, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Really do appreciate the invite once again. And Saturday, look forward to it. Bring on,
Yeah.
and may the best team win, as they say. But
give your vodcast another plug.
Yeah, so you can find me Warriors NRL Fanatics on YouTube. Search up Warriors NRL Fanatics, and you should find my channel there. So and then follow me on Instagram as well at Warriors NRL Fanatics. So you can follow me there.
Nice, good. And what's your tip?
Prediction. I'll say Warriors, of course, backing the boys in. But I think
Exactly.
I'm pretty straightforward. I'm always going to back my boys in. So Warriors 1-12. I think though. I don't think it'll be. Look, I think you guys, you guys will be desperate. Obviously you guys lost last week.
Desperate's not the word.
And plus our record, over in the Gong is not great. So our record.
Well, look at that.
You guys, so.
What are we? 25-12 in the wins losses, aren't we? Yeah, you guys scored 12 and we've won 25. So
it's a lot worse in Wollongong, but we won't say that here. That'll be on that'll be
on the main show.
Question on the main show tonight. So,
all right. Thanks, Christian. You've been a champion.
And who'll be an anytime try scorer? Who do you think will get a try for the Wahs in this game?
Oh, I'm gonna go with Dallin on return. Dallin on return there. So DWZ.
Nice.
Yes, I remember a couple of years ago he did score 4 in the Gong. So that was a night to forget for the Dragons.
Yeah. So they have one in the Gong. So there you go. You got a chance. All right, mate. Thanks very much.
Thanks
for
coming on. We'll be happy to have you back on later in the year when we play.
See you next time. See you in the semis, mate.
We do play them again, Big T. We play them every New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
We'll see you then, eh?
We'll do.
We'll have more questions for you.
All right.
All right, mate. Thanks very much.
Thanks for your time, Christian, and see you again next time. And our main show will be starting at 8:30, so it gives you an hour to have your dinner if you haven't had so. Go have a cup of tea or whatever you want to do, and get in a comfy seat to watch the podcast from 8:30. So it gives you an hour to get sorted, and we'll see you in an hour for our regular Teamless Tuesday show. See you then.
Coco is at Pell's heart, she wears it on her sleeve. As Mustard tells tales of dragons, wins and tune and victory. Tony and the MP crew will do their very best. Getting off topic and I digress with a red beyond our chest. The Mad Dragon podcast is a sheep of camaraderie. Navigating rants down rabbit holes in the land of big red bees. And so our peddlers speak the tales and our friendship is our dream. The Mad Dragon podcast, under